The Galactic Military Academy's orientation hall fell silent as the human shuffled through the door. Cadet Marcus Webb stood barely 6 feet tall, a dwarf compared to the towering Krillthan warriors with their 4 arms and crystalline exoskeletons. The serpentine Vask delegates hissed in what passed for laughter among their species, their scaled bodies coiling with amusement. "Another Death Worlder," muttered Commander Zelthos, the Academy's Krillthan instructor. His mandibles clicked dismissively. "Humans. Soft-skinned, slow-healing, single-hearted fragile things. Why the Council insists on accepting them remains a mystery." Marcus said nothing. He'd heard all before during the shuttle ride from Earth. The other cadets had made their opinions clear. Humans were too weak, too primitive, too soft for the rigors of galactic warfare. Earth had only joined the Coalition 3 years ago, and most species still viewed humanity as the galaxy's newest charity case. The first week of training confirmed everyone's suspicions. Marcus struggled with the gravity simulators. Most alien species trained at 1.8 to 2.3 times Earth standard. His aim with plasma rifles was adequate but unremarkable. In hand-to-hand combat drills, the Krillthans tossed him around like a rag doll, and even the smaller Vask could constrict with enough force to make him tap out within seconds. "Perhaps you should consider administrative roles," Commander Zelthos suggested after Marcus failed his 5th consecutive strength trial. Not every species is suited for frontline combat. But Marcus kept showing up, kept training, kept failing. Then came the neural combat simulation, the Academy's ultimate test. Each cadet would face a holographic battlefield, their neural responses measured and translated into combat effectiveness. The simulation adapted in real time, countering tactics, learning from mistakes, escalating threats until the cadet broke. The average score was 3,200 points. Exceptional cadets reached 5,000. The Academy record, held by a Krillthan war prince, stood at 8,847. Marcus entered the simulation chamber on a Friday afternoon. The other cadets had already completed their tests, gathering in the observation deck more out of morbid curiosity than genuine interest. They expected the human to wash out in minutes. The simulation began. Marcus materialized on a hostile moon, enemy combatants closing from all directions. The viewing screens showed his vitals, heart rate spiking, adrenaline flooding his system, pupils dilating. Then something changed. Where other cadets had fought with calculated precision, Marcus fought with something else entirely. The monitoring systems registered chemical cascades unknown in other species: cortisol, norepinephrine, endorphins mixing into a cocktail that the medical database flagged as potentially lethal. But Marcus didn't slow down. He accelerated. He moved through the battlefield like a creature possessed, his combat style utterly foreign to galactic military doctrine. He didn't retreat. When wounded, he pushed harder. When the simulation cut off his escape routes, he didn't surrender. He attacked. When phantom enemies shattered his simulated bones, his brain simply ignored the pain signals and continued fighting. The observation deck fell silent as Marcus's score climbed. 5,000, 7,000, 9,000. "This can't be accurate," whispered a Vask cadet. "He should be unconscious, dead. His stress hormones should have triggered system failure." But Marcus kept going. The simulation threw everything at him. Overwhelming numbers, impossible odds, catastrophic injuries. It didn't matter. Something primal had awakened in the human, some ancient survival mechanism that refused to acknowledge defeat. His ancestors had hunted prey to exhaustion across African plains, had survived ice ages and predators and plagues through sheer bloody-minded persistence. The galaxy had forgotten that Earth wasn't just a death world because of its harsh environment. It was a death world because it had produced persistence hunters, creatures that simply refused to stop. When the simulation finally ended, not because Marcus had failed, but because the program had reached its maximum difficulty threshold, the score flashed across every screen in the Academy. 14,293 points. Commander Zelthos stared at the human cadet, who stood in the simulation chamber, drenched in sweat, hands shaking, eyes still wild with adrenaline. For the first time in his 30-year career, the Krillfin instructor felt something he'd never associated with humans before. Fear. "Welcome to Advanced Combat Training, Cadet Webb," Zelthos said quietly. "It seems we've underestimated your species." Marcus nodded, still catching his breath. Around him, no one was laughing anymore. They never would again.